I love being able to control an entire nation as an omnipotent dictator, but because doing that in this modern day and age requires a lot of paperwork, I've decided instead to load up one of my favorite computer games. Say hello to Tropico 4, a game that came out just 1 month before Skyrim. Since September 2011, we've had 2 more Tropico games and about 30 DLCs. Meanwhile, at Bethesda HQ, they've said that they might be working on the next Elder Scrolls game. So that's something, I guess. Now, Tropico is a classic city builder game with a twist. Instead of playing a benevolent mayor, you are instead a dictator thrust into this weird island republic. You have to somehow balance the economy and the happiness of all of your population's factions. If too many people get upset, they'll start joining the rebels. And if the rebels get a bit too excited, you might end up with a bullet through your head. At the same time, the Cold War geopolitics is in full swing, meaning if you don't impress the world's great powers, you might suddenly find yourself being turned into a US Navy base. But best of all, we get to create our custom dictator. Now, we can pick some classical famous ones from history like Fidel Castro, or alternatively we can make a custom avatar. We are going to be SPIFFOLINI. We started as a leftist author who rose to power thanks to a communist rebellion. This is very useful as it gives us advantages towards being friends with communists and increasing our farm production, with a bunch of other traits, but we'll see how they play in as the game goes on. Today, we're going to be creating the most perfectly balanced island paradise where, using my real-world skills as a kind and benevolent British person, I will create a utopian society. I am sure absolutely nothing could go wrong. Oh, I'm so excited. So yes, it is January 1950 and welcome to the game. The graphics are a little bit dated, but trust me when I say that this game is incredible. Every single person you click on is entirely unique. For example, we have Candela Medina here. They have a set of skills and education, a whole complicated string of forts. You can even see their entire family tree. And if you really want, we have some actions we can do. For example, we can have them murdered, we could pay them a bribe to make them like us more, or potentially just arrest them. Anything is possible thanks to being a glorious space dictator. Now, this is our lovely island. It's absolutely jazzy. We have ourselves a cool volcano over on that side. I'm sure it won't cause any problems. But over on this side, we're close to the coastline where we have our dock. This dock will allow us to export various goods around the world. And trust me, we're going to need to do a lot of exporting because we only started with $20,000. And people are complicated. They're going to want food, they want jobs, they're going to want education and entertainment. Oh my goodness, it's so needy. Now, of course, when citizens don't have some of their needs met, they can still look after themselves. For example, they can just build themselves little shacks. Now, shacks aren't exactly the best living environment. I mean, maybe if you're in London, this looks like adequate housing for a few grand a month, but over here in Tropico, it's not really a good idea. Anyway, we need to set up our glorious island economy, and that means making money. One of the best ways to make money is with the export of cash crops. For example, sugar. By building this lovely plantation, we're going to be able to employ a very large amount of people to produce a very large amount of sugar. Yes, our own population can't eat the sugar, but that doesn't matter. The sugar exists to be sold to wealthy British people who want to sweeten their cups of tea. And trust me, they're willing to pay a lot of money for it. Right, over here I've decided to begin the construction of the entire Civ 6 multiplayer community. Hopefully we can get some of these uneducated males a bit of work, and that work will make me a fair bit of money. Now, every few months a new ship will arrive at the docks, and when they do, they'll pick up any goods we have waiting here and take them off to be sold, potentially import new resources, and bring in hopefully a wave of new immigrants. We're going to want as many immigrants as possible because these sugar plantations aren't going to work themselves.
A few moments later.
There we go, and our sugar plantation has finally got our first worker. That's fantastic. Of course, each job has its own wages, and if you're an uneducated worker, you're going to try and find the job that pays you the most money, or has the highest job quality. Oh my goodness, and 3 new people have arrived off of the boats of Tropico. Lovely. Those people can go straight to the sugar plantation. However, no goods were actually exported on that ship. That's because we haven't actually produced anything yet. Everything takes time to grow, and we are quite literally growing money out of the ground. That's how our economy is going to work. Oh, and fantastic, we got our first financial aid package. The US and USSR have sent us some money to improve our island nation. That's incredibly nice of them. I'm going to use it to do some wonderful things indeed. Like build a nice church. There we go. Look, I'm doing a nice thing inside of a video game. I know most people said it couldn't be done, but no, Spiff can be nice to people. One of the things I absolutely love about this game is the fact that you can just follow your avatar around the map. Like here is the wonderful Spiffolini just walking his way. He'll go around to various buildings and boost their productions, and if I really like what he's doing, I can always just tweet it by capturing a screenshot and sharing it with all of my followers on Facebook. Isn't it incredible? It even formats everything for you. What happens if I try and tweet it actually? What is going to happen? Tropico 4 needs access to your Twitter account. Okay. Tropico 4 will now minimize. Please allow Tropico 4 to tweet on your Twitter account. Connection failed. No! They've taken the Tropico tweeting servers offline. Elon, how could you? Now, I will explain some of our traits. We went for 3 traits: Alter Ego, PR Specialist, and Plantador. Alter Ego is a very simple trait because it's meant to help you fight crime. The idea is that your president is basically Batman in his free time. However, I picked the trait because it halves the cost of arresting your own citizens. And that's a really useful thing indeed. Oh dear, we're starting to get a little bit of trouble in paradise. Yes, it would appear that crime safety is not doing well. It is off the charts, quite literally, because our lovely advisor Antonio Lopez had all of his charts robbed by a criminal syndicate. Oh my goodness, and the financial aid is really starting to come in. Yes, as you can see, the USSR really likes us and the US really hates us, which means we're probably not going to get many more gifts from them. But we do still desperately need money, and money is not exactly easy to come by, especially when there are criminals running around your island robbing people. Now, normally, in order to get early money, what you would do is build several mines. However, we literally have one source of iron and one source of bauxite for the entire island. Yes, our natural resources are terrible, it would seem. This is not very good at all. We've got goods piling up in some of our lovely plantations and ranches. We just simply need to get them to the dock to be exported. And we also desperately need more workers. There's just quite simply not enough bodies to work in the fields. There are a few things we can do by dipping into edicts. For example, we can unlock humanitarian aid. This allows us to build a humanitarian aid camp. It's not exactly a very prestigious building because it's a very clear sign that we're ever so slightly failing our population, but it means that some lovely foreign powers will be donating charitable quantities of food and medical care, allowing us to make a bit of a cost saving from our budgets. Other edicts, for example, would allow us to gain $10,000 by allowing nuclear testing to happen off the coast of our island. That's probably not a very good idea. Anyway, luckily a new container ship has arrived and we've exported 19 grand's worth of goods. That's fantastic. However, not everyone's happy. Who's this? There's a protester. You're the leader of the loyalist faction and for some reason you really don't like me. El Presidente doesn't care about our happiness. We must stand together and protest. No, I need to fix that. We need to provide them with some form of entertainment that is more than a restaurant. How about a childhood museum? That's right, a museum dedicated to the life and works of El Presidente. What a splendid idea. We desperately need more workers, but luckily I have found myself a solution. The China Development Aid. For just $10,000, 100 Chinese immigrants will arrive on their next ship. It's as simple as that. So in 2 months' time, a ship with 100 new people will be arriving. The consequences of this, I'm sure, will be perfectly fine, but we're going to need to make sure we have some places for them to work. So that means a few more sugar plantations. Some could say that more than doubling your population in one single boat is potentially a bad idea. However, I don't care. I move in mysterious ways and 112 people have just arrived on the island. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. The endless march of wonderful people who have no jobs and will choose to live in shacks. This is why we are now seeing a incredibly large shanty town developing. Oh my goodness, look at the conga line of our 100 new Chinese immigrants wandering into the aid tents. Incredible. We don't have to pay for their basic needs. It's perfect. Now, there is one minor downside of having a shanty town, and that is that the crime safety of the local area is completely obliterated. As you can see, the odds of crime occurring in this area is incredibly high. But what does cause crime in this game? Well, very simply, it's when people don't have a job, and so they must think outside of the box a little bit. Now, there are two possible solutions to stop crime from happening. We can either provide the workers with jobs and housing to keep them away from the life of crime, or alternatively, the other solution is to not solve crime. And this, in my humble opinion, is the best option. For you see, we can build this 1-2 punching combo: the police station and the labor camp. The labor camp is an incredible building because it allows us to put our prisoners to work, and whilst they're working, they will grow cash crops for us, which we can sell for money. And best of all, as they're prisoners, we don't need to pay their wages. Isn't that wonderful? And oh, it has begun. One citizen has become a criminal. We can immediately go into the lists, sort by jobs, and yep, here it is, our first criminal, Cheng Gong. We can even rename him. We shall of course call him Rob Banks. Now this gentleman is of course a criminal, and that's rather dangerous indeed, because he will run around causing problems. Still, we need to actually have our solution, so I'm going to quick build the labor camp and the police station all in one go. The police station will employ police officers who, if they see a criminal commit a criminal act, will immediately arrest them. Upon them being arrested, they will be deposited into the labor camp. Now, interestingly, the labor camp is meant to only work provided it has educated high school workers there. However, I've been playing this game for over a decade now, and I can tell you that isn't actually the case. It's a bug that's been in this game for years. And fantastic, our first police officers are now onto the scene. These police officers will of course wander around the town and catch any criminals they see. However, we don't just need to capture criminals. Instead, we can pay money to create criminals. And by that I mean we can arrest these people wandering the streets. You see, all of these lovely Chinese immigrants we've imported, well, they don't have jobs. They also don't have families. And so we can kind of arrest them without there being any consequences. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of money in order to arrest a large amount of our brand new population. And because of that, we should now see police officers run around to arrest these people. Ah, look, here's our first police officer here. I must go to work. Crime never sleeps. Perfect. That's exactly my fault as well, sir. Another thing that we can use to increase crime in our city is to build the smuggler. This is a wonderful building because it increases the crime in its local area, and it also allows us to very illegally import resources that we shouldn't have access to, and we get a bunch of cash for doing so. Oh my goodness, who's this? This unemployed man is apparently protesting. He likes communists and capitalists. He's a very confused gentleman, it would seem, but that's fine. We can solve his confusion by arresting him immediately. Anyway, our first 5 prisoners are doing a great job. So many of them are getting themselves set up, working nice and hard inside of our sugar plantation, and hopefully after a little while we're going to start seeing them actually producing some lovely products for us. However, in the meantime, I'm going to need some money desperately because I can clearly see that a tenement has been set on fire due to human negligence. This will burn down to the ground if we're not careful. Luckily for me, I can just forcefully extinguish it for 5 grand. And so I think it's time I show you how you can actually make money in this game rather illegally. In order to do this, all you're going to need is $80 in your bank account. And then what you're going to want to do is begin the construction of a road. Simply build your road out to its maximum length at $100 and then find whatever your bulldoze key is. And then what you want to do is hold it down. This basically means anything we click on will be deleted and its cost of construction will be refunded. However, we haven't constructed anything yet, but I'm still holding down this key. This causes an interesting overlap of orders because when I press this button to construct this road, it actually refunds the road's construction. And as you can see, my money went up. I can do this again, and every time I do so, I get the refund cost of this road's construction rather than actually building it. This, as you can imagine, is an infinite free money exploit, and as far as I'm aware, no one else has found it in the nearly 15 years that this game has been out. So of course, by using the power of an auto clicker, I can simply hold down my mouse, and in the bottom left you'll notice financial shenanigans are occurring. Yes, this is perfectly balanced indeed. But I think it's incredibly important because the population of our island are becoming a little bit uppity, and we need to issue a tax cut. For $31,000, this will make everyone like us, but yes, that's basically all of our money gone, so I'm going to need to do this exploit a little bit more. So I'll be back in a second after I've made even more money. Alright, so welcome back. I've used my money-making exploit to generate a decent amount of cash, but also to expand our little empire a bit. Now it would probably be quite a smart idea to hire a Minister of the Interior. This incredible gentleman here is very jazzy, because he can issue a very special edict, the Prohibition Edict. This significantly increases all criminal activity due to the illegal distribution of liquor. It closes down all pubs, nightclubs, and rum distilleries, but the knock-on effect is that all production is increased and religious people like us. However, the real benefit for me is the fact that more crime happens, and more crime is more good. Oh, also, if we check out my wonderful sugar plantation over here, you can see that work is well underway, and we have a large quantity of gainfully employed, definitely legal prisoners. I 100% didn't just find random unemployed citizens and force them to work themselves to the bone. No, I would never do that. Oh, fantastic. We can start seeing our first few goods actually piling up here. here at the labor camp. Yep, we have 266 sugar has been produced. That is fantastic. They get all of their food and water and housing and health all taken care of in this lovely camp, and we don't have to pay them. It genuinely is perfect. Oh my goodness, I was wondering why I couldn't arrest any more people. The labor camp is full. Oh, well, we're just going to need to build some more. I suppose we could have them actually produce corn as well, seeing as that's a useful resource we can have. So I'll get another labor camp constructed. Oh my goodness, there's a protest against the government. What is it about? I guess you're really upset that there's no crime safety. Well, I don't care that there's no crime safety, although I do care that I can't arrest you and put you inside this labor camp and oh, 2 citizens became criminals. Yes, that's the power of prohibition. Lovely. Well, this is fantastic as we've got ourselves the labor camp set up. So we have ourselves another lovely camp. Oh, and what's this? Another protest? You're evidently upset about something, so straight to jail with you. Oh no, a rebel attack. I can't believe it. Where on earth are they? Chances are they're going to be trying to attack one of our resource extracting facilities. In total, there are 4 rebels, and here they are trying to blow up my lovely salt mine. How dare you? I need my salt mine. It's made me like 24 grand. That's okay. I mean, it's not as good as a plantation, but still. Luckily, my fearless Tropican troops are over here, and they're ready to fight. Come on, friends. Take down those rebels. Yes, there we go. We've routed a few of them. 1 man has died. Okay, there is 1 rebel remaining. Where's El Presidente? Oh, we're going to the front line. Let's go, El Preso. Although I don't think you'll get a chance to fight, because it looks like we've just eliminated the final rebel. There we go. We did it. The rebels have been repelled. Oh my goodness, yes, the Tropican people want elections. Of course, the pollsters already predict that we will get 146 votes, so yes, we shall run in the election. We will promise to apparently solve crime safety problems, and we will promise to have adequate religious satisfaction. There we go, perfect. What a glorious speech I have prepared. This will, of course, win over more voters to my side. Now, seeing as I have some spare cash lying around, I'm going to build a massive monument to the Eternal Flame, and what I'm going to do is have it so that there's a 10% chance every time someone visits this monument that they will be converted into becoming a loyalist, and thus be far more likely to vote for El Presidente in any upcoming elections. Oh no, there's an enemy tornado incoming. Quick, allow me to tweet about this. One night stand with a tornado didn't call in the morning. Wow, Tropico, aren't you such a funny game? Imagine tweeting that in 2011. Don't think anyone has ever done that, but hey, this is a problem. Tornadoes are not fun. They're sending trees flying everywhere. This lady's probably not gonna have a good time. Many of these buildings will be destroyed, but provided they don't destroy our lovely labor camps, all will be okay. No, not the Eternal Flame. Please do not destroy the Eternal Flame. Oh my goodness, it just blew up a tenement building. And the election is about to happen. It looks like we're about to win 82% of the votes, which is quite good. I guess no one wants to vote for the other guy. We did it. We won. Lovely. Now, of course, I did slightly cheat in this election. By building this newspaper office here, I have hired journalists, and thanks to my trait of PR specialist, that means that for each journalist we have, 2 citizens will be guaranteed to vote for me in the next election. That is, as you can imagine, pretty darn good indeed. Oh, there's a random person here protesting. Well, they're the leader of the environmentalist faction, and I mean, if you can't tell, the environmentalists probably don't like what we've got going on here, so straight to jail with you. Help, I'm innocent. Protesting doesn't make you innocent. Anyway, our lovely sugar camp over here has been producing good amounts of money for us, and they're getting sent straight off into the export land. Fantastic. But one thing I'm noticing is that we don't actually have enough children or teenagers. You see, we need those in order to have college-educated citizens. But luckily, I have a solution. By setting our clinic to obstetrics, we result in a wonderful situation where upon any family member visiting the clinic, there is a 50% chance that the wife of that family unit will immediately start having a child. This is pretty powerful indeed, but why stop there? We can activate the Festival of Love. This starts a baby boom and increases the tourism spending by 20%. And here it comes. Yep, it's the Festival of Love. These ladies come out here and start some kind of festivities. Watch where you're going, Mr. Priest. So yes, the Festival of Love begins as these ladies will start making their way over to El Presidente's palace, and then after a non-specified period of time, a boom of children shall occur. Yes, I wonder how that happened. Presidente, you dastardly dog. Oh no, there's a rebel attack. They're once again after my salt mine. Well, luckily for me, that's no problem. I have 16 army officers, and so we shall survive this. And we just made $45,000 from exporting goods. Very large amount of that, of course, coming from our glorious little work camps over here. They're doing some fantastic things for our economy. Oh well, we have thoroughly routed the rebels. They've stood no chance at all. Yes, our mighty police force is doing a splendid job indeed. It does cost a lot of money to maintain such a large military, but that's no problem at all, because we're making a lot of money from some very dodgy means. Also, to secure the election even further, I'm going to build another newspaper office to once again employ a lot of journalists who in turn will spin me in a very positive PR-y way, thus giving me additional votes in the upcoming election. Oh, more protesters. What are you on about? You don't support any political factions, but you're saying El Presidente doesn't care about our happiness. To jail. Right, one of the logistical challenges we have is actually delivering food to our peoples. However, I've come up with a wonderful solution that kind of kills two birds with one stone. Now, a little while ago, we've enabled social security. This means that we pay wages towards retirees so that they don't die. However, retirees cost us money and don't add anything to the economy. They simply consume goods that could otherwise be exported. This is why I am building a supermarket. Supermarkets are quite jazzy because yes, they distribute food to the population of Tropico, but most importantly, we can enable junk food. Junk food is incredibly unhealthy and it lowers the life expectancy of anyone eating it. This is exactly what we want, because with a lower life expectancy, old people will die faster and stop becoming a burden on society. Oh, and now that we have a Minister of Education, I'm also going to enable the Edict of Polit Education. This damages the productivity of the island, but most importantly, it means all loyalists will be forced to mandatorily vote for me in an election. That's very good indeed. But in order to improve this setup further, I think it's important for us to start generating electricity, because we can use it for some slightly nefarious purposes. Say hello to the propaganda tower. This suppresses any protesters in its radius and starts converting them towards being loyalists. Now, if that isn't education, I don't know what is. So of course we're going to place down as many of them on busy intersections as possible, and they will do a fantastic job of securing our loyalists forever. The election is on the horizon. As you can see quite clearly, it's looking like we're going to do well. There is overwhelmingly massive support for El Presidente. All of these people over here that are guaranteed to vote for me, well, they're the loyalists. This is a faction that has grown to 166 supporters. We can click on basically everyone, like Ada Yu here, and they're only a loyalist because they've been taught that voting for El Presidente is the best thing they can do. However, most interestingly is I can still have this person arrested. And there's literally no downside for me for doing so. They are a member of the loyalist faction, and whilst arrested, they'll go from being a farmer whose wage I have to pay to a farmer whose wage I don't have to pay. And yes, they'll probably get a little bit upset. After all, they think they're innocent. But it doesn't matter, because they are still a loyalist, and loyalists must always vote for El Spiffidente. I love imagining that each of these propaganda towers are just shouting, "Vote Spiff! Vote Spiff! Vote for El Spiffidente!" I want every single person on this island to be a loyalist. Oh my goodness, we're already up to 277 loyalists. That is absurd. Remember, we are still somehow a democracy. I don't quite know how myself, but yes, that is definitely the case. Yeah, the propaganda towers is so much better than this Eternal Flame Monument. This bad boy is only converted 15 loyalists. Meanwhile, this incredibly cheap, affordable propaganda tower has converted 34. Yeah, it's just far more cost effective. But one thing I can do is build the lovely nuclear shelter, a super special bunker that will encourage people to join one particular faction and boost that faction's support. We could dedicate it to only the rich people. This would make capitalists happy, or in our case, we're going to make it so that only Presidente can survive in the nuclear bomb shelter. In doing so, we will raise the respect of all loyalists by 40. Okay, we're up to 344 loyalists on the island now. This is very, very good. I mean, what happens when 100% of the island becomes loyalists? At that point, we could eliminate everything. Like, we could stop feeding our entire population. We could pay them nothing, and they would be the saddest people on the planet, but they would still vote for El Presidente. I actually wonder, how many rebels do we even have on the island? In total, there is one rebel on the entire island. That is actually incredible. There is no threat of any rebels. Okay, so with our lovely new airport built, this is very cool indeed, as now we can begin doing a trade mission to the USSR. So for just $1,000, we can activate a trade mission and we will get some kind of random unknown bonus. Ah, there we go. We've traded with the USSR and they've given us $5,000. Well, $5,000 is perfect because that's an entire brand new propaganda tower. And here we have it. Our lovely nuclear shelter has apparently converted 2 people to the side of being a loyalist. But most importantly, it will also make the existing loyalists we have extra happy. There we go. Look, they're at 94% approval rating now. The only thing that makes them sad is that I've permitted elections to be held. But I mean, of course I would. When I'm guaranteed to win, I have 418 people who will 100% vote for me. That is just ridiculous. Look at all these people. These are old people who are really struggling with health. They're desperately in need of faith and rest and food, but they don't care. As they are a loyalist, they will still 100% vote for El Presidente. Oh, look, our first little plane has landed. Oh, wait, hang on a second. What? Hang on a second. No, our first little plane has not landed. These people are so keen to go on their holiday that they appear to be disembarking from the skies. We got a bunch of people on holiday. This is tourist boy, apparently, Dalton Sheldon. Oh my God, it's young Sheldon. Okay, well, I guess these cool people are here and excited to start their little Tropican holiday experience, so good for them. Meanwhile, their plane will just take back off somehow, hopefully. I mean, look out for that cliff, my dude. Look out for the cliff. Okay, there were no survivors. We're rapidly approaching 500 loyalists on our island. This is fantastic. These people are upset that there's not enough churches. They're upset that there's not enough health, that there's no luxury goods, but it doesn't matter because they love it. They might get paid only $5 a day, but they don't mind because El Presidente is all they need, and the propaganda tower is telling them that. Look at how many we have now. This area of the island noticeably has less propaganda towers, and so we must fix that. There will be so much propaganda that even the tourists getting off from the planes will be converted to El Presidente's side. I think generally speaking, what I've discovered are the propaganda towers are best placed in high traffic areas. So what you're going to want is to have them outside of most churches, clinics, and most importantly, garages that your people will use to get around the island. Oh, and in the upcoming elections, we can see how the votes are shaping up. It looks like SPIFFOLINI is going to get 371 votes and Peng Yang will get 1. Oh dear, I am too good at Tropico. This game is so much fun. It's so silly. There is no other game that will allow you to build a nightmarish authoritarian labor camp like this, where everyone involved in the labor camp is completely chill with it. I mean, this guy is a loyalist. He's a maximum die-hard supporter of El Presidente, and we had him wrongly arrested for no apparent reason just so he could work in my labor camp. Preliminary election polls are in, and we will get approximately 100% of the votes. I swear, if we get the results and Peng Yang, the leader of the opposition, doesn't even vote for himself, that would be incredibly funny. Oh no, he won't even vote for himself because he's a loyalist. That means he's guaranteed to vote for me. Oh my God. There we go. We won. We won the election with 100% of the votes because, well, everyone loves us. How are loyalists doing now? There are 598 loyalists. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. Every single person on this island is now a loyalist to El Presidente. I can't believe I've actually done this. Well, with that, ladies and gents, I think it's safe to say that we have perfectly balanced Tropico 4, and using my incredible skills as a real-world dictator, I've been able to create the ultimate glorious island paradise for me to enjoy, and for my lovely citizens to get blasted with loudspeakers. Anyway, make sure to give the video a like, because if you don't, you're going to be sent to the Pineapple Labor Camp. As always, a massive thank you to our lovely YouTube members and Patreons for helping fund these videos. You are all fantastic, majestic sausages. This has been a really fun video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a lovely day, and goodbye for now.